Tonight, a death investigation is underway after police say a man was found dead inside a Franklin County apartment.
I'm Kristen Kennedy in Georgetown, where the man accused of driving drunk and hitting and killing a Lexington lawyer appeared in court today. We'll let you know where the case stands.
And a Kentucky State Police trooper is dead after an early morning crash. The latest on the investigation coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening to you. Frankfort police are investigating the death of a man found inside an apartment.
Police say someone discovered the man just after 1 this afternoon at an apartment complex on Deepwood Drive. Garrett Weimer is in Frankfort with our top story at 6. And Garrett, we've learned police are treating this investigation as a homicide, right?
That's right. Investigators say what they saw inside the apartment here on Deepwood Drive has led them to believe it is a homicide. Police have been out here for several hours now, and it's still a very active scene. Police say they got the call from a neighbor who found the man's body inside his apartment around 1:15 this afternoon. Investigators say he's a man in his 60s, but they aren't identifying him yet until his family is notified. The coroner is still on the scene here. Investigators are not yet releasing how they believe the man was killed.
With this being an open, active investigation, there are certain details that we would rather not release at this time.
Warfel says the investigation is still in its early stages at this point. Live in Frankfort, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
For the latest on this investigation, go to WKYT.com. We'll post updates as we get them.
New tonight, we have an update about the Centrepointe project in downtown Lexington. Mayor Jim Gray's office says an agreement has been reached in principle with a third party to develop the project. The mayor's office did not give any details about who the third party is. This announcement comes after city leaders gave developer Dudley Webb 90 days to allow a development group to look over the project. In April, the city demanded Webb fill in the Centrepointe block, saying no work had been done on the project. The 90-day period ended earlier this week.
A man accused of driving drunk and hitting and killing a Lexington lawyer answered to the charges today. Georgetown police say Mark Hinkle was riding in the annual Horsey 100 when Odilon Paz Salvador hit him. Today, he appeared in front of a judge. WKYT's Kristen Kennedy has the latest from the courtroom and reaction from one of Hinkle's friends.
Two of Mark Hinkle's close friends and law partners sat in the courtroom Friday afternoon for Odilon Paz Salvador's arraignment.
I feel like Mark needs a voice in the criminal justice system, and I want him to be represented. He's my law partner, has been my friend for a really long time, and I feel like it's something I need to do for him.
Leslie Vos says she'll continue to come to court as Paz Salvador's case moves forward. Georgetown police officers arrested him back in May. They say he was driving under the influence when he hit and killed Hinkle. At the time of his arrest, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement told WKYT Paz Salvador's deportation proceedings were pending in federal immigration court following an arrest and conviction for drunk driving in Fayette County.
I think Mark would have been the first person to tell us not to be bitter and not to be angry, but to be fair.
Paz Salvador's wife said the only thing she wanted to tell us was written on the back of her T-shirt. It was a message supporting her husband. And she, like Hinkle's law partners, plans on being at every court appearance.
Mark would never be one to be vengeful or stereotypical, but a victim who's no longer here doesn't have a voice in the justice system. And I feel like we need to be sure that people know that it matters. It's very important. It's important to us that justice is sought and reached in this case, and I'm sure it will be.
Paz Salvador will be back in court next month. In Georgetown, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Paz Salvador's attorney told the judge today he'd like to discuss lowering his client's bond during his next court appearance. Right now, it's $500,000 full cash. Tonight, the search for a wanted man is expanding into Lexington. Police are looking for 39-year-old Benjamin Brewer from Laurel County. Police received information from U.S. Marshals that he might be in the Lexington area. Brewer is charged with 6 counts of vehicular homicide. In June, police say Brewer's tractor-trailer crashed into 8 cars on Interstate 75 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, killing 6 people. There's now a $1,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. A man accused of harboring vicious dogs that attacked a Lincoln County woman now faces additional charges. Chris Pope is charged in Boyle County with 4 counts of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Police say Pope's dogs attacked Loretta Stevens outside her home last month. Police captured the dogs and removed several more from Pope's Boyle County home.
We are learning new details about an early morning crash that claimed the life of a Kentucky state trooper. It happened about 6:30 on Kentucky Route 210 in LaRue County near the Greene County line. Police say Sergeant David Gibbs lost control of his cruiser and ended up in the oncoming lane, hitting another car head on. WKYT's Monique Blair is at the live desk with more on what happened. Monique?
Well, Amber, Kentucky State Police are saying they do consider weather to be a factor in this crash. Police say 42-year-old Sergeant David Gibbs was driving his 2010 Crown Victoria cruiser on Kentucky 210 when he came across a sharp set of curves, ultimately losing control and going into the path of oncoming traffic. Police say a Jeep then collided with Sergeant Gibbs' cruiser. Sergeant Gibbs was pronounced dead at the scene.
David Gibbs' life revolved around working for and being a Kentucky State Trooper.
State police say as of lately, the particular stretch of road where this accident occurred has been a spot where many accidents have occurred.
Information has been given to me that this is the 4th weather-related accident in the same area on this roadway within the past 2 days.
State Police Trooper Kendra Wilson describes Sergeant Gibbs as a funny man with a great sense of humor, organized, and her friend.
When you get the call that one of your own has been hurt or killed, you just stop. You just have to stop and pause for a minute. It's very emotional. We love one another. We're a community. We're a family, and we take any loss within that family very personal.
Sergeant Gibbs' body was taken to the state medical examiner's office shortly after the accident happened. The driver of the other car involved in the accident was taken to an Elizabethtown hospital and treated for non-life-threatening injuries. At the live desk, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Monique, thank you. Kentucky State Police have not said whether Sergeant Gibbs was working when the accident happened. We are told Gibbs was not married and did not have any children. Gibbs' death comes only months after another Kentucky State Trooper died in a crash. In June, 23-year-old Trooper Eric Chrisman was involved in a crash near the Marshall-Livingston County line. Police say his cruiser hit a tractor-trailer while he was responding to a reckless driving complaint. Chrisman was from Anderson County and graduated from the Christian Academy of Lawrenceburg.
A healthcare worker faces serious charges. Police say she stole thousands of dollars from her patient. 23-year-old Mackenzie Metter is charged with exploiting an adult. According to her arrest citation, she stole $11,000 while working at a woman's home. Police say the victim's bank tipped them off because someone was cashing checks. Metter told police the checks were gifts because the victim believed she deserved additional money for her work. Metter is being held on a $10,000 full cash bond.
The heavy rain has finally moved out, making way for some better weather for our weekend. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look now at your forecast. Sounds pretty good, Chris.
Yeah, it's going to feel even better out there, especially this evening. We do have those low clouds that are being awfully stubborn, but we really can't complain. At least it's not raining for most of the area. Temperatures right now into the mid and upper 70s. Dog days of summer taking a little bit of a break. Not that we've really had a whole lot of heat this summer. This has been a cooler than normal summer around here because of all the rain. One of the big factors of the summer, right? 75 Richmond, 73 into Danville, 78 showing up into Lexington and Frankfort. Most areas stuck in the 70s today. What about the rain? Nothing on Defender until we get into far southeastern Kentucky. And here you basically have to squint to pick up on a sprinkle from Hindman down toward Harlan. Most areas, though, are remaining on the dry side. If you're out this evening, thermometers in the 70s. We still have a lot of humidity in the air, but by 11 o'clock, we'll see some upper 60s beginning to show up. We will turn it a little warmer as we go into our Saturday and Sunday. Then we track another cold front that will bring a blast of September air to central and eastern Kentucky. We'll time that front into where you live when I get back in just a few minutes.
It was a debate people across the country had been waiting to see. The first Republican presidential debate kicked off last night on the Fox News channel.
The event was split into two debates, a happy hour debate featuring the bottom 7 candidates, and the main event just a couple of hours later with some standout moments among the 10 leading candidates. Sean Moody has some analysis.
With 10 candidates up on that stage, it was going to be tough for any one of them to stand out. Well, except for that one.
I think Donald Trump was predictably the big show.
Lexington Herald leader, political writer Sam Youngman thinks the Trump bubble could burst soon.
It's probably the beginning of the end of Trump mania, but he's been making political analysts like me look foolish for months now, so who knows what his ceiling is.
Youngman said Kentucky Senator Rand Paul appeared to try to get his name into the headlines along with Trump's to try and build some buzz.
So more than anybody, Rand Paul needed to be a part of the conversation coming out of the debate. It was clear that part of his strategy was to go right after Donald Trump and make sure he was a part of the news.
Right out of the gate, as Trump explained why he wouldn't pledge to back whichever candidate won the Republican nomination, Paul pounced.
He's already hedging his bet on the Clintons, okay?
I thought it was a strong moment for Senator Paul. In a moment that he desperately needed. I think 9 candidates on that stage would have liked to have been in that same position, to be the first one really going after Trump and trying to pop that balloon.
Paul also had some heated moments with New Jersey Governor Chris Christie over national security.
It's to make sure that you use the system the way it's supposed to work. Here's the problem, Governor. You fundamentally misunderstand the Bill of Rights.
Youngman said Paul will need more moments like that one to keep a high profile going forward.
And I think you saw a couple of candidates like Ted Cruz, maybe Scott Walker, that sort of just blended into the background. Rand Paul seemed to say from the beginning, that is not going to be me, and he did what he had to do to make that happen.
In Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
CNN will host the first Democratic presidential debate in Nevada in October. A sweet surprise from a Lexington fire crew has gone viral. Coming up, how the ambulance crew is helping 2 Lexington girls raise money.
And the Wildcats took questions from the media today. Coming up later in sports, what Mark Stoops had to say about his team's progress.